Now on KZI 9 News at 4, local students join millions of others marching for their lives. What you need to know about tomorrow's big event. Plus, spring snow brings some school delays, why some parents say that decision was wrong, and what administrators are saying tonight.
And we have snow falling as we speak. Live look over Eugene. You can see the snowflakes making it down to the ground. But will we see any snow stick to the valley floors or the coast? The answer is KEZI 9 News at 4 starts now.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News. Breaking news.
We begin this afternoon with breaking news out of Lane County, where a sheriff's deputy was arrested for rape. Thank you for joining us. I'm Bob Shaper. KZI 9 News anchor Matt Templeman is live in the studio with this stunning story. Matt?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Bob, just a little bit more than about 40 minutes ago, we found out that a sheriff's deputy was placed on unpaid administrative leave pending a criminal investigation. Investigators say that the victim is an 18-year-old female. Now, 40-year-old Matthew Hitson from Eugene faces a number of charges, including rape in the first degree, furnishing alcohol to a minor, and delivery of marijuana to a minor. Lane County deputies say on Wednesday evening they were contacted by the Springfield Police Department about an investigation they were conducting, which involved Hitson, who is a 3-year deputy with the Lane County Sheriff's Office in the Corrections Division. Hitson was arrested today by Springfield Police. The Sheriff's Office released a statement again about 40 minutes ago saying, in short, that they are saddened that a member of the organization may have been involved and the impact it has on our community. Now, the criminal case is being referred to the Lane County District Attorney's Office, and coming up on KEZI 9 News at 5 o'clock, we will hear directly from Lane County Sheriff Byron Trapp about this case. Live in the studio, Matt Templeman, KEZI 9 News. Bob.
All right, Matt, thank you. We're going to continue to cover this story as it develops. For more information, just head to our website at KZI.com. And more accusations of sexual misconduct, this time involving a woman from Veneta. Sheriff's deputies arrested 30-year-old Ashley Triplett for allegedly having an intimate relationship with a teenage boy. There she is. She faces a number of charges, including sex abuse and luring a minor. Deputies say they were tipped off about the relationship back on March 5th. She is scheduled to be arraigned on Monday. New information this afternoon. The Cottage Grove Police Department says that suspicious death they were investigating this morning was actually a suicide. The victim was discovered around 7:15 outside a building on West Main Street and South River Road. All right, now to this early spring crazy weather that kept drivers and road crews on their toes this morning. This is along Highway 126 near Walton. That's mostly slush there, but as you can see, some snow did accumulate on the side roads. There were also reports of debris and some trees falling onto one section of Highway 126. Schools in Junction City had a snow delay this morning, just days before spring break. Dustin Farrell and his daughter were waiting in the parking lot at Territorial Elementary School. He says his daughter was hoping to get to class early today.
I'm not a big fan of the delays. I wish it would just come to school on time or no school at all.
He says the delay makes getting to school a little more difficult, and because he lives too far for his daughter to walk, he was late to work. But it was a still fun morning for some people. One parent who arrived early at Laurel Elementary said she and her kids were just going to take the day off. And we now go to Marissa in the Weather Center, and it was pretty kind of, I don't know what to think about this weather anymore, Marissa.
Yeah, it's definitely very crazy, Bob, and pretty much everyone is not seeing the same thing, no matter where you live, if you're at different elevations, even if you're at the same elevation but in different spots, you're seeing something different than the person across the street. But let's take a look at what we've got right now. Here in Florence, we've had rain showers through most of the day, but you can actually see some snowflakes mixed in. We've actually had some snow even earlier today up near Lincoln City, so just to the north of this, on the beach early this morning. Now, as we slide down to Coos Bay and northbound, we do have rain showers moving through. We've also had some snow mixed in here, but not sticking to the coast at all for any longer than maybe a couple of seconds. Live look over Roseburg, hard to see much. We are in the cloud, but we have had some snow showers around the area at Eugene. We're having snowflakes falling as we speak. You can see them here on our Skycam. Yes, we do have rain droplets, but the snow is not sticking on the surface, and that is likely to be the trend as we get into tonight. Valley Florida shores and the coast will see the snow mixed with rain. It just really won't stick around too long. Corvallis, we do have some showers still in the area, but the passes have been a big concern throughout the day. Chains or traction tires are required to get across all of the Cascade passes. We do have an accident also on Highway 126 as well as Highway 58 just to the east of Oak Ridge, and that means that we are looking at not only poor driving conditions across the top of the passes, but actually even getting to the top of the passes. So if you have to travel late tonight, see if you can push it back to late tomorrow. Conditions will be a bit better, but we're still expecting more snow on the way. Here on Storm Tracker 9 satellite and radar, you can see all of that snow and the rain showers moving through. We're going to zoom into the southern Willamette Valley to start things off first. You can see snow showers into the Coast Range and yes, into the Coburg Hills and then also into the Cascades. The snow is mainly sticking longer than just a couple minutes at about 1,500 feet, even some places down to 1,000 feet below that. Yes, it's sticking for a bit, but then eventually it does melt off as temperatures are still above freezing in many spots. I'll have more details about what exactly you can expect through this evening coming up in just a bit. Bob?
We need to be very, very careful, all of us tonight. Thank you, Marissa. Happening tomorrow, the March for Our Lives. After the school massacre in Parkland, Florida last month, students across the whole country are standing up and saying never again. Thousands of students are expected to participate, and ABC's Kenneth Moden is in the nation's capital with a preview of tomorrow's movement.
It's expected to be a monumental event, and this will be the epicenter of the March for Our Lives. The main stage stretching across Pennsylvania Avenue here with the Capitol as a backdrop. Hundreds of thousands of people will be lined up for at least 9 blocks reaching the White House. Young people from across the country are already making their way into D.C. by bus and plane, joined by parents, educators, and others demanding action from lawmakers to make schools safer and pass tougher gun control laws. This rally, organized by the vocal and determined students from Parkland, Florida, just 5 weeks after the deadly shooting rampage at Stoneman Douglas High School. Mass school shootings dating back to Columbine sparking this movement. Last week, nearly 1 million students participated in National School Walkout. And hundreds of other marches are also planned tomorrow across the country and the world. But there are several events happening today, including Parkland students rallying at the Capitol, some face-to-face with lawmakers demanding change. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
All right, Kenneth, thank you. As for the, local marches will be taking place in our area as well. Eugene Public Works has issued a traffic advisory for the downtown Eugene area starting at 10 a.m. They say it will affect the following areas: the Ferry Street Bridge at 6th and Mill, portions of 5th, Olive, and Broadway. Now, as for the march itself, students plan to gather tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the federal courthouse, and the march will begin at noon. In Corvallis, there will also be a march through the downtown area. Tomorrow, of course, is the first meeting to replace outgoing Senator Jeff Cruz. The Oregon Republican Party says officials from the 5 counties that make up Cruz's district will meet in Coquille. The members from Douglas, Jackson, Josephine, Curry, and Coos counties will nominate 3 to 5 candidates. That's Cruz right there. Their names will be forwarded to the Secretary of State's office and eventually voted on by the county boards of all 5 counties. Cruz officially resigned on March 5th over allegations of sexual harassment against women, including 2 senators, which he has denied. Also tomorrow, the Sutherland School District is holding a community forum to discuss their upcoming bond measure. The $42.5 million bond measure would fund major projects across the district, raising property taxes by $2.13 for $1,000 of assessed property value. The community forum will be held in the Event Center at Sutherland Middle School and starts at 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, tomorrow. All right, the Secure Rural Schools Act, known as SRS, has not been a part of Oregon's budget since way back in 2015. But with the passage of the new budget, Oregon could see millions of dollars coming in for forest communities. The SRS Act helps communities that were timber dependent and was intended to be a temporary fix while those communities transition away from the timber industry. The act expired in 2015, which left the state about $20 million short. The SRS will only be good for the next 2 years before it has to be voted on again. Now, Congressman Greg Walden says lawmakers are working on a long-term solution.
Which would create jobs, reduce wildfire costs, and generate revenues locally. We passed it in various forms in the House 5 years in a row. Could not get it through the Senate again this year, and this was the best we could do.
Congressman Walden says the new budget is a victory for the state of Oregon. The Office of Workforce Investments announced Boyd's Coffee will be closing its Portland and Eugene locations. A letter submitted to the mayor's office in both cities says this comes after Farmer Bros purchased the company's assets. The letter says Boyd's will begin discontinuing operations starting on May 23rd. That includes some permanent layoffs. Both the Eugene and Portland sites are expected to be fully closed by the 1st of October. Now, according to the letter, there are about 72 employees expected to be affected here in Eugene. That's a shame. All right, meanwhile, a big economic draw for Douglas County is announcing its plans for the summer. The Douglas County Fair announced this year's entertainment lineup. Fair officials say some of the big acts include the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, I like them, Pat Benatar, I like them, Neil Giraldo, country artist Gary Allen, and Papa Roach will perform throughout the week. On Saturday, August 11th, the Challenge of Champions Bull Riding Tour will return, followed by a performance from the Christian rock band Cutlass.
We had Pat Benatar and Nitty Gritty Dirt Band exactly 20 years ago in 1998. They were both here at the fair at that time. And it's kind of ironic they're here exactly 20 years. And that was my first day on the job as operations manager of the fairgrounds.
Time flies. Tickets for the fair go on sale April 7th at the Douglas County Fair website, and all concerts are free with a ticket purchase. This year, kids ages 12 and under will get in for free all week. That's great for families. All right, it's the so-called Gone Girl case. A woman from California is opening up about being kidnapped 3 years ago. Coming up new at 4:30, why she says she thinks some of the people behind the crime are still out there. But first, law enforcement in Oregon is upping the stakes in their search for an escaped inmate who allegedly stole an ODOT truck. How much they're offering for that guy, coming up.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News at 4 with Bob Schaefer and Chief Meteorologist Marissa Walzen.
We have an update on the escaped inmate still on the run after he stole an ODOT truck and then just drove away from his work crew. Authorities are now offering a reward for information leading to his arrest. But as Catherine Cook tells us, this is all for a guy who would have been free in just a matter of a few weeks.
This is usually a really quiet neighborhood.
On this day, neighbors around Northeast 52nd and Broadway took afternoon walks amidst crime tape and a multi-agency manhunt.
Well, it kind of makes you wonder.
Nervous laughter, knowing escaped convict Scott M. Smith could be anywhere.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
Multnomah County Sheriff's deputies say Smith was on an inmate work crew at this green space on Northeast 94th and Hancock Drive when he escaped.
He jumped into a ODOT vehicle that unfortunately was left open and running.
Deputies say Smith ditched the stolen ODOT truck on Northeast 52nd.
What are the chances, right?
Right in front of Alec Dobrin's house.
It was kind of scary. Actually, when I first came home, I did go through the basement and the attic, just kind of checking anybody here, because you never know.
Alec took these pictures of police searching the house across the street. That's where they believed someone who knew Smith lived.
They had a riot shield. They had a man with a rifle pointed at the upstairs window behind the ODOT vehicle. And they did a sweep of the house, very much, with a canine unit as well.
Searched the home and he's not in there. So at this point, he is still somewhere out here in the community.
Lieutenant Mark Strake says Smith is a low-level offender with no history of violence. He was initially charged with identity theft and was serving a 90-day sanction for a parole violation.
There's an end date to it, and he would have been out and free on his own. So it's a little bit odd and strange that you're going to easily make it a lot longer than the 90 days that he was initially in for.
But first, they have to find him. Neighbors hope it happens soon.
Makes you keep your eye out a little bit more than you might otherwise.
Absolutely. All right, that was Catherine Cook reporting. Crime Stoppers of Oregon is offering a cash reward up to $2,500 for any information that leads to his arrest. Also, tipsters can remain anonymous.
Well, here's your live Traffic 9 update. We've got accidents across the area, including here Willamette Pass, or actually, excuse me, just to the west of Willamette Pass on Highway 58. Reports are that this accident does involve a snowplow. So if you can avoid Highway 58, please do so. As we head all the way up to Santiam Pass, we actually have an accident here as well, slowing some traffic. Chains or traction tires are required, but we are still looking at some snow-packed roads there. As we slide through the central Willamette Valley, seeing very slow traffic along I-5 North. If you are traveling that that way. There is an accident, and it is slowing things down just to the north of Albany. And then finally, as we slide into the southern Willamette Valley, we also have an accident on Beltline. We have our normal slowdown too through the Beltline Delta interchange here. This may or may not be weather related, but as we check at our passes on I-5 in Douglas County, yes, we have some snow along the roadsides, but at least chains aren't required here. I'll have a close look at your forecast and what you can expect tonight and this weekend next.
Now, Storm Tracker 9 weather with Chief Meteorologist Marissa Walzek.
Well, before we take a look at what is going on right now, if you thought this morning was breezy, you're not crazy. We did have some good wind gusts this morning, especially along the coast, anywhere from about 30 to 40 miles per hour. Along I-5, we saw wind gusts anywhere from 20 to 30 miles per hour, and even seen some breezy conditions across the mountain passes. It's been a bit breezy today, though. Winds have died down quite a bit, and they will continue to weaken as we move into tonight. Temperatures right now playing a big factor in what we are seeing across the area. We have to be at that freezing mark to see the snow stick. Eugene, you're at 32 right now, so we may see the snow stick for a bit, but the thing is, our temperatures are not consistently staying at that freezing mark. They've been fluctuating all over the place, so at sometimes that snow will stick for a little bit, and then we'll be back to some rain showers, and that's been the case all across western Oregon today. Right now, you can see temperatures a mix of upper 30s, near 40 degrees along the coast, mainly in the 30s along I-5, but 40 degrees in Corvallis. Across the mountain passes, definitely seeing that snow stick where we are looking at quite a few inches of snow. Chains or traction tires are required to get across the mountain passes. But here on Storm Tracker 9 radar, you can see where, yes, we do have some snow showers and we do have some rain showers. We looked first through the Willamette Valley. We're going to slide into the Umpqua Basin. Unfortunately, we don't have as great of radar coverage as we would like to see, but we're seeing about the same thing here. Snow showers are mainly sticking above about 1,000 to 1,500 feet. Below that, yes, we're seeing a rain-snow mix, and it may be sticking for a short bit, but I don't expect it to stick around too long as temperatures again are still getting above that freezing mark in many locations. But as we slide a little bit farther to the north, we're going to move along the coast. We've had a lot of snow through the coast range. We could pick up another couple inches here right along the coastline. Yes, we've had some snow, but we've also had warm enough temperatures where that snow is not sticking, and we're likely to continue to see a rain-snow mix as we get into this evening. Take a look at this big storm system as we zoom out. A nice big spiral motion to it, and this storm system will still impact our weather as we get into tonight and tomorrow, and now maybe even a little bit as we move into Sunday. There are a lot more showers offshore. This batch of energy is going to move in as we get into late Saturday, but let's take a look at the next few hours here on Storm Tracker 9 Stormcast. We're going to start things off tonight at 5 o'clock. I did take off the clouds so that it's easier to tell the difference between the rain and the snow. As we get through about 9 o'clock tonight, we'll still see showers cycle through the area, and at this time, still looking at a rain-snow mix all the way down to the valley floors and even along the coast at times, but the actually accumulating snow where we'll see a couple inches will still mainly be around about 1,500 feet, if not 1,000 feet in some spots. So we'll see the snow a little bit lower than that. By the time we get to about midnight, still looking at more showers cycling through. There's a little bit of a lull as we get into early tomorrow morning, a small little break before the showers are back as we continue throughout the rest of the morning, stopping around about lunchtime tomorrow. Then we continue through the afternoon. Showers continue to cycle on through, and showers and snow lines will still be about the same as what we've had today. So what does that mean exactly? Well, we're mainly going to see snow, yes, above 1,500 feet, where we are going to see a couple inches to possibly a foot of snow, definitely at the higher elevations. Near 1,000 feet, we'll see snow accumulating at times, and then it'll melt, and then it'll accumulate again. And then down to the valley floors and the coast, I don't really expect any accumulation longer than maybe a couple minutes, as we will continue to see a rain-snow mix as we get into tonight and tomorrow. Temperatures tomorrow will mainly be in the 40s. We'll add in a couple of sun breaks late in the day. If I just take a look at the 7-day forecast along the coast, warmer temperatures are in our future as we get closer to 60 degrees. Umpqua Basin also more 60s in our future after we get through this weekend. For those of you in the Cascades, more snow as we get into tomorrow, possibly another 3 to 6 inches of snow. And finally, for the Willamette Valley, yes, more sunshine and near 60 degrees in our future. But Bob, yes, it's been an interesting day, getting a lot of viewer reports. Thank you to the viewers who are sending me those reports. It's really helping trying to figure out who's seeing the snow, who's seeing the snow sticking, and then if they're still seeing the same thing about an hour later. So thank you again, and keep them rolling on in. We'd love to see pictures too as well.
Yeah, it's kind of hit or miss because, you know, we're at 400 feet just here on the valley floor.
Yes.
So, you know, we're close. All right. Thanks, Marissa. Okay, an Oregon company got a hefty chunk of change to make sure robots are the wave of our future. How much they got to make sure it happens? Coming up. Robots that can help you around the house. It may sound like the Jetsons, but that cartoon could soon become a reality thanks to an $8 million boost. And as Keely Chalmers tells us, it's all thanks to a company right here in Oregon, started by OSU.
In the beginning, you need to calibrate it.
In this robotics lab at Oregon State University.
So now I'm going to log on to it.
The future is here.
It's called Cassie.
A walking and running robot. These days, Cassie is undergoing some testing in the lab, so it's a little tied up.
So, still work in progress.
But you can see it in action in this video recently shot by crews at Oregon State. They captured Cassie walking around the campus, taking a leisurely stroll along the river and down the football field. Cassie is an upgrade from the earlier and much bigger prototype named Atreus.
The difference is that Cassie can do so much more because you can just stand in one place if you want and balance, and then you can sort of pick up a foot and start to walk, and you can steer your way around an environment.
The engineer's next step will be to fit the robot with cameras and laser sensors so it'll be able to see and maneuver around large obstacles, for example, climb stairs. They say someday the robots could be used in warehouses to move or unload boxes, or perhaps they could team up with self-driving delivery trucks.
And in the middle of the night, if you can have them carrying all the packages and then these machines picking up those packages and doing that last 50 feet from the curb to the doorstep.
Or even one day in the not so distant future, Cassie could help you out around the house.
So I'm really looking towards having these things ultimately in my home as I age, having a helper in my house. I know that robots are going to be a lot more patient with me than my children will be.
As for how much one of these robots might eventually cost, about $30,000, no more expensive than a mid-grade car, and they could play just as important of a role.
I think legs and having really capable legged locomotion in the world is really going to change our society as much as the automobile has.
How are they going to help us if they don't have arms? All right, when the engineers say the not so distant future, they mean it. They estimate we could see these robots being used within society sometime in the next 10 years. All right, it is the so-called Gone Girl case. A woman from California is opening up about being kidnapped 3 years ago. And coming up new at 4:30, why she says some of the people behind the crime are still out there. Plus, solving seizures, how the Cleveland Clinic is using imaging technology to help improve one teenager's seizure disorder. That's coming up next.